Batman the Ride at Six Flags Great Adventure is the most intense coaster I have ever ridden. This ride, in a small, compact plot of land, packs in some of the most intense positive G-forces I have ever experienced. Many people often criticize the Batman the Ride clones mostly because, 1, they are a clone and they stretch across many different Six Flags parks. Though this is the only run I've ridden, so I've never had that irritation myself, but I can safely say that this is one of my all-time favorite coasters. This was the second ever Batman the Ride clone to ever open, just behind Six Flags Great Americas in 1992. Though overlooked by many other coasters at the park, such as Jersey Devil, El Toro, and King Ka, Batman the Ride is still an amazing ride and is still a real player in the park and really contributes to its deep coaster lineup. Now, I don't want to waste any time, let's get right into the presentation of Batman the Ride. The presentation of Batman is decently well done, as there is some nice foliage around the queue line, and the queue, though not very well themed, the station is kinda nice cause it does resemble the Batcave. Though the queue line itself mostly just takes place in a giant metal box. I guess that's sort of theming because it is themed to the Gotham sewers, but I mean, that is a pretty lazy theming attempt. Other than that, the color scheme does pop and it is a nice ride in general. Now let's move on to the actual ride experience itself. To start off the ride, you head up the 105-foot tall lift hill, offering some good views of Jersey Devil and the ride's layout itself. Then you go into a small pre-drop before going into a twisting drop to the left. And this twisting drop in the back row gives some great sustained lateral whip. Then you fly into your first inversion, which is an extremely tight vertical loop, which will give sustained positive G-forces throughout the train. Then, after the vertical loop, you fly into an extremely snappy 0G roll, giving some great laterals throughout the train before going into your second vertical loop. Just like the first, this one is extremely tight and will definitely make all the blood rush to your legs. Then you fly into probably the most intense element on the ride, which is the upwards helix into the turnaround. This turnaround provided some absolutely insane positive Gs and will 100% make you gray out. Then you fly into two of probably the most snappy inversions I've ever experienced, which is the ride's final corkscrews. In the back row, you get yonked through these with no headbanging, by the way, providing some absolutely insane lateral whip. The second corkscrew is even tighter and it provides even more lateral whip with, again, no headbanging. Then you rise up into the brake run, ending your 2,693-foot ride. Now, there's a few things I've yet to mention about Batman the Ride. First of all is the ride's smoothness. For a ride that is almost 30 years old, Batman the Ride is still going strong as one of the smoothest roller coasters I have ever ridden. There is no headbanging to be seen on this incredibly whippy coaster, which is very surprising for a coaster of this age. So in any seat, this is a very comfortable ride experience. Well, unless you're not into positive Gs, because if you can't handle that, then maybe this isn't the coaster for you. Next up are the ride's dispatches. The day I visited Great Adventure, Batman and most of the coasters there were only running one train, but for good reason, as the park was absolutely empty. The entire day, Batman was a complete walk-on, so the dispatches didn't have to be great, but they were still good nonetheless, timing in at around 1 to 2 minute dispatches. So, would I recommend Batman the Ride on your next trip to Great Adventure? And I would say absolutely, as this is probably going to be one of the most intense coasters you will ever ride. And if you're just sick of these clones and you really don't want to do it because you've done it so many times, I would still recommend doing it because either way, it's going to be a fun time. Now, what would I rate Batman the Ride? I'm going to give this ride a 9.5 out of 10. Batman, in my opinion, does almost everything perfectly and almost everything I'm looking for in a good inverted coaster. Though I haven't ridden much, I could still safely say that this is in my top 10. So it looks like that is going to do it for my review of Batman the Ride. What do you think of Batman the Ride? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more reviews coming your way here in Coasters in Perspective, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.